Good morning and welcome to the Manatee County Tourist Development Council meeting for August 18th, 2025. I am Amanda Ballard, County Commissioner for District 2, and we will start today with our Pledge of Allegiance and our invocation by Rabbi Jessica Spitalnik-Matis. Sorry about that. Let's go ahead and start the pledge, and we'll go from there.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And then if you'll pop over to the lectern and we can go ahead with the invocation. Thank you.
Good morning.
Morning.
I've only been here a couple of months as the new rabbi at Temple Beth Israel on Longboat Key. And one of the first things that I've done since coming to the area is follow all the social media, including the social media of this area, of the county. And through that, I learned about a book called Manateena of Anna Maria Island. It's by a woman who now lives in North Carolina, but grew up going to Anna Maria Island and loves the manatees. And through that book, I learned three things that I think relate to tourism and culture. The first thing that I learned is that you need to not just go through the land, but let the land go through you. This woman lives in North Carolina, and yet Anna Maria Island stays with her. Manatee County stays with her, so much so that she has written this book to show others. So we have to understand that we have to inspire people not just to go through our land, but let the land go through them. The second thing to learn is use the site. If we are just minutes from ocean or beautiful birds or wonderful objects of nature, we have to talk about them and use them and incorporate them in everything that we do. The third thing is leave a little bit undone, so next time you have more to do when you come back. I was a tour guide many years ago in the land of Israel, and one of the things the rabbi that taught me to guide when he climbed Mount Sinai, the mountain where the 10 Commandments were given, he said, don't climb to the very, very top. Always leave a little bit left to climb so you'll come back more. And I think that is an important message, that as we live here and thrive to make this community so wonderful and so inspiring, that we always leave people wanting to come back. And so with those three ideas, to use the site, to leave a little bit more, and most importantly, let the land go through you. I wish you courage and strength in your task. I wish you safety and wholeness as we continue through a season of hurricanes that has very much affected this community. And I wish only shalom, peace, and growth and goodness for this region. And let us say, Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rabbi. So now we will move on to our TDC member introductions, and we will start on the left end.
Good morning. I'm Dan Diggins. I'm the chair of the Commission for Holmes Beach.
Eric Cairns, Anna Maria Island, Cedar Cove Resort.
Jitan Patel, DoubleTree by Hilton, Sarasota Bradenton Airport.
Tony DeRusso, Palmetto Marriott Resort and Spa.
Gene Brown, Mayor, City of Bradenton.
Again, Amanda Ballard, Manatee County Commission District 2, and the chair of the TDC.
Norma Kennedy, interested citizen.
David Wick, interested citizen.
Elliot Felchoni, Tourism Director, Manatee County.
Thank you, everyone. And now we have our meeting minutes for our meeting from June the 16th, 2025. Do we have any changes or issues?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just one amendment to the Anna Maria City Pier update. The last bullet point, we would like to amend it to $2 million to continue the design work, debris cleanup, and new construction up to the $2 million. So if we can add new construction, that will be referenced in the reimbursement agreement between Manatee County and the City of Anna Maria. And that's all.
Thank you, Elliot. Any other changes? Okay, with that change, I am now entertaining motions.
So moved. Second.
All right, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. All right, any opposed? All right, and the minutes are approved unanimously. Now we can move on to our public comment portion. Go on up there, Pat.
Pat Simmons, sorry, Manatee County. I have two things. One is Move United. They're seeking a host city for National Adaptive Sports Competition. This literally just came to me Saturday morning at 5 a.m. And the reason I'm bringing it to you is we meet all the criteria. Host cities should have accessible venues, hotel properties, be attractive as vacation destinations, and affordable locations for families. They are expecting probably 400 plus athletes, 100 coaches, 500 volunteers, as well as families and friends. So to me, it would be a win-win situation for Manatee County and for Move United. Birmingham, Alabama has hosted it, Denver and Grand Rapids recently. The only caveat is that the application has to be in by August 29th. I have the link and the person's information if you stop once it, but we have to act fast. The other thing is my sunflower lanyard. I went out to SRQ to pick this up. I didn't know at the time that the buses leave us off at least a quarter to a half a mile away from the terminal. Even handy buses do. Luckily, I went early enough in the morning, it wasn't too hot. I got there, I had to go to the second floor to find a TSA agent, someone that even knew what these were. These are for people with, they call them hidden disabilities. I call them invisible disabilities. Someone that you wouldn't know that has a disability, they don't have a mobility device to assist them. The problem is, at SRQ, there's no way to contact a concierge in the airport from where the buses leave you off to say, hey, I need assistance, a wheelchair, someone to come help me walk, help me with my luggage. There's no two-way communication for a person with a lanyard, or vice versa. Once you leave the terminal and you're trying to make your way back to the buses, you're on your own. So those are two very important things that I wanted to bring to you, especially Move United. I thought I'd bring it to the TDC first, but you'll see me again tomorrow morning. But thank you.
Thank you very much, Pat. I think the Move United that's a great suggestion. It is a little bit of a tight timeline, but if we can connect with staff and get that application started, I think it's a great idea. And we also have good connection with the airport board, so maybe we can work on trying to fix that issue with the lanyards as well. Thank you. Do we have any additional public comment right now? All right. Seeing none, I will close public comment and we will move on to item number 3, which is the potential Palma Sola Botanical Park grant.
Yeah, and Madam Chair, we may already be working on that event. Pat, thank you again for coming. Make sure, Colby, raise your hand just to make sure that you give us that information to Colby, okay? Thank you, Pat. Thank you, Madam Chair. Number 3 on the agenda is the Palma Sola Botanical Park. I'm sure many of you have been to it. Beverly is here. Beverly, thank you for coming. There you are. The executive director. I was telling Beverly, I can remember going back a couple of decades ago and not anything like it is today. A great nature park for our community, our tourists, and then obviously the special event facility as well. I believe we've even hosted some travel writers, some influencers over there as well. With that, like a lot of small businesses, their exterior of their building was damaged from the hurricane. The Bishop Parker Foundation has graciously offered a grant to help pay for it. They're looking for some matching dollars. So prior to coming to the TDC to ask for monies being pulled out of reserve and it being the middle of August, we have the money already in our budget, the $57,000. We believe it's a good investment to match the Bishop Parker Foundation grant. We already have staff working on a reimbursement agreement, but I think it's prudent that this TDC just provides a recommendation, because we may need to bring that reimbursement agreement to the Board of County Commission on consent. So it's something that's important, and we're seeking a recommendation for this really good initiative.
Do we have any discussion, any questions?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think whenever we look at how we're doing things and what we're doing, it's always good to see that we have others involved in the community, and especially when you talk about the Bishop Parker Foundation, when they look at things. And I really think it's a good idea, and as we deal in government, there's a couple of us up here that are our day-to-day things, but anytime you can get something to match it, it doubles the impact, and I think that's very important. So, Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve the $57,000.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a couple enthusiastic seconds. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, and the motion passes unanimously. So you have your recommendation. Now we can move on to a capital request for Sarah's Studios, and we've got Janine Amick from the Performing Arts Center.
Thanks, Madam Chair. I think I'm going to take this one as well.
All right.
Janine's here for questions. The two of us talking together, we may be here till lunch. And I say that facetiously. Of course, in June, Janine gave us an update on the what I call the theater conservatory known as Sarah Studios. It's important to remind the public the importance of arts and culture and heritage in our community. You look at the tourists that comes here, the average length of stay is 5.9 days per stay. The state average is about 4.2.
So there's a lot of reasons why the leisure visitor, the couples, the families want to come here and stay very long. And a part of that is attributed to the arts, culture, and heritage in our community. It's also important to remind the residents that if we can partner in the area of arts, culture, and heritage at no cost to the resident that live here, that enhances the quality of life for the resident that lives here, that's a great deal. And we're presenting that this morning. Finally, with where the light is at the end of the tunnel for the convention center, expansion, capital improvement, and we need nothing more to tell that meeting planner of the arts, culture, and heritage that we have for the out-of-town attendees to conferences and conventions to be able to enjoy while they're here. So with that, this ask is predicated on Janine out in the marketplace looking for partnerships. And when she spoke to you in June, it was a 3-story facility. Now they've amended that to a 4-story facility that will be connected via a 2nd-floor bridge to that beautiful Manatee Performing Arts Center. The total ask is $3 million, but out of that, 2.5 is for capital, and that would be on a reimbursement agreement. We've shifted gears a little bit recently, where when I hate to use the word negotiate, when we seek balance with that grantee that's asking for grant dollars, we'd like to now suggest to the TDC and the Board of County Commissioners that we hold a sum of money, and on this one, $750,000, to only be used when the grantee receives at least a temporary certificate of occupancy or a certificate of occupancy. I know in my heart this TDC, and more importantly, the Board of County Commissioners, want to provide grant dollars to finish projects. What that does too is it gives Janine more leverage to go find more private money. And there's nobody better in this region, not just Manatee County, that can do that. And between now and that TCO, she'll find the give and take $1.52 million that will get her the 31,000 square foot facility. A little bit about the 4th floor is Robin Bell, that dynamic conductor, educator that's been working over at State College of Florida, is now planted her office within the confines of Janine's nonprofit organization. So there'll be some training in the area of symphony for our students, our adults. Janine is also partnered with the Sarasota Ballet, the Sarasota Youth Opera, to be able to extend programming in the Bradenton area, also known as Manatee County. The icing on the cake, folks, is with the idea of Robin and Janine is, you all know we're on the cusp of the 2nd European holiday market with that beautiful grand ballroom that can't wait for y'all to see it. It's just amazing. We're going to do our first ever Christmas jazz ensemble with the Bradenton Pops Symphony Orchestra, whatever you want to call it, Janine. I'm in a remedial class. I should be, as you could tell. We're gonna offer that to Friday night after a day of holiday market for families to come and enjoy. When that's successful, Janine and Robin are gonna probably do a series and really activate that grand ballroom. Aside from being able to expand music, the arts into the convention center, it's an open house for the people that attend the show, where they walk in and say, oh my gosh, I didn't know this existed in Palmetto, Florida. Gosh, I need to rent it for this, that. Okay, so it has a lot of value. So we talked about the 2.5 million, and Janine is on the cusp of breaking ground Friday. So come one, come all, it's going to be an exciting day. What are we doing with the $500,000 difference, between the 2.5 and $500,000? I'm going to keep this short. I don't want to get in the mud because I've met with y'all one-on-one. But Janine has staff that does nothing but sound and lights year-round, and we have a void in sound and lighting at the convention center moving forward as soon as we finish construction. So Janine had the idea to have her oversee sound and lights, our audiovisual organization, as a nonprofit. That the win-win is she's going to hire and train and mold future AV staff. We're going to have much better customer service. She will plant one full-time staffer in our office, 8 to 5 days a week, unless there's events. And then we're going to front load her money to buy the basic sound and lights and microphone equipment to get her ramped up. Why is that? Why are we front loading? Well, one, and I trust Janine, but if she owns the equipment, staff is more likely to take care of that equipment instead of us owning it and they manage it. Number two, the revenue ratio, the convention will get the majority of the revenues. Janine will get revenues to continue to sustain her operation, but we want to see the theater make a little bit of money as well. So it's a win-win-win. Finally, she's partnered with the Florida Railroad Museum on some interactive theater during all their programming. So we're trying to continue to work with the arts and culture nonprofits to partner up and hold hands to optimize and stretch everybody's dollar. And then the icing on the cake is probably right after Thanksgiving, give or take, and when volunteers are available, she's going to have actors on the water ferries that'll actually tell the story about that beautiful shoreline going from downtown Bradenton, Palmetto out to Anna Maria Island. Mm-hmm. And there may be certain times of the year, seasonality based on history, where they're in costume as well. So a lot of neat things. There's nothing better than partnering with nonprofits in our organization. The total nut's $3 million. We feel good about it. I'll close at this, and Mayor Braun, you know it. Gosh, where were we at before Janine and her staff built that Manatee Performing Arts Center, and where are we at today in the participation of the TDC and the Board of County Commissioners over those years? Now we have a Manatee Performing Arts Center. We have a brand new art center. We have an enhanced Bishop Museum. And now we're going to have a theater conservatory that is very unique south of St. Petersburg all the way to Naples. So with that, unless there's any questions, I'm seeking a recommendation to bring this $3 million partnership to the Board of County Commissioners.
Any questions? Any conversation?
Obviously, Mayor, Chairwoman, I have some conversation, and obviously I can make a motion, but if somebody else wants to jump in, I don't want to do it all. But under discussion, 5 years ago when I became mayor, one of the first things that came on my desk was about the Art Center moving to Lakewood Ranch. And it was, they were in a fundraising mode. They were doing things that kind of hit a stumble and all of that. And I think either the second or third meeting, we actually symbolically named 3rd Avenue, Avenue of the Arts, because they have Boulevard of the Arts in Sarasota. We love our partners to the south, but we want to be a little different, and we want them. So we worked hard in helping and working things, and now the Art Center is open. Still, the construction is being done on the front part of it. But when we look at what we have within a very short walking distance from the Bishop, the Art Center, and the Performing Arts, and now people are coming from the south when this is built out to use us and to enhance what we do. And, you know, there's a lot of things that people are looking of the positive things we're doing in Manatee County and how we're going to make it where it is, live, work, and play, and visit, and be able to visit and do a lot of things in a little area while still being able to get out to our island, while still being able to go out to Lakewood Ranch and Waterside and those planned development areas. I think that this is something that, and it's a tribute to Janine and her board, and it's to her tenacity to keep pushing, because it's easy when people say no, 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 or it'll never work there, to just stop. She's created a synergy along with others downtown that are going to, in 4 or 5 years, really show the fruits of that labor. It's showing now, but in 4 or 5 years, it's really going to be wow, why didn't we do this sooner? The last part of the sand pile, if anyone out there watching or listening knows what the sand pile is, there will be no more sand pile. It's going to be completely finished. And in between all of the things that you can live, work, and play, walk, off of Manatee Avenue, there's things happening, and really making a difference in what our arts and culture will be into the Riverwalk, over to the convention center, because obviously we talk about the water ferry later in a little bit, but the water ferry, I think, has been one of the biggest things that this community finally ever got, because for 30 to 40 years we've been saying, how are we going to do it? And bringing that out in a COVID market and then after COVID has shown, and I've said this many times, it was fun yesterday sitting on my couch watching TV, looking out the window and watching the two boats pass each other, one leaving full and one coming back full. And those are the 40-seat boats. Wait till we get the 90 or 100-seat boat. And then the connection when you can say, well, you're going to have to get in the car to drive over a bridge from the Palmetto Marriott, from the convention center. No, you won't, because that's something that we've got to push to have that water ferry to come back and forth as it goes. Once things with Palmetto and connecting Bradenton, and then from the island. It's pretty cool. I stay out on the island. I can still get on that and go see the arts without ever getting in a car and then come back. So I can go on forever about that, Madam Chair, but I'll stop talking and listen to anybody else that wants to talk. So.
Tony?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, just to really second what Mayor Brown is saying here, arts and culture. Our job up here is to promote tourism, and arts and culture are at the heart of tourism. And I don't think we could have a better leader for the Manatee Performing Arts Center. I think that this is a critical thing for us to recommend as a part of the TDC. I just put a call out there because I know we want to see what that finish line is. How much short are we to finish after this recommendation? Do you know? Because I know that there's still some fundraising that needs to happen. Do we know what that is?
It's in that give or take 1.7 to 2.2 million, that range there.
Okay, so I just put a call out there to the local businesses, foundations, community. We definitely need to get this finished, because I do think that this project is going to be recognized. I mean, not only locally, regionally, but statewide. And to Mayor Brown's point, we need to bring people who are coming to conventions and things like that to our community over to your center. So I'm a huge fan, and I look forward to seeing this come to fruition.
I have a quick question, and then I'll go to you, Commissioner Diggins. So with the space on the fourth floor, moving in the pops and orchestra opportunities, will that bring additional performance opportunities for orchestra, symphony, that kind of thing, to the Performing Arts Center, which again, drives people to downtown and lets them eat in our restaurants and just enjoy what downtown has to offer?
So the quick answer is yes. The first and foremost, probably at least 3 times, if not 2 times when it initially starts, is as soon as the facility opens, which we're hoping will be in January of 2027, the Pops will start a youth orchestra. And the youth orchestra's home of not only rehearsals will be at Sarah Studios, but their performances will be at the Manatee Performing Arts Center.
Awesome.
The symphony, the Pops Orchestra, we plan on doing some shared performances. So right now you would see them once at the Neal. There's opportunities. For instance, they are partnering with our artistic director, our producing artistic director this year, to do a very unique Dickens carol. They'll be doing it here in Manatee County as well as in Sarasota County this year. It's performers as well as the orchestra full-length performance of about 2 hours. And so that would be something we could do on our site. It would be multiple nights.
Fantastic.
Also, it's the hope in this partnership with the convention center to be able to do those types of concerts in the Grand Ballroom. We were over there with an engineer. So the test is going to be the Poppin' Jazz Christmas. It's a 7-piece with a vocalist. And if that goes well, as Elliot shared, we'll be doing series at the convention center and at the Performing Arts Center as well.
Awesome. And I love bringing those cultural opportunities into Palmetto as well. So that's awesome. Commissioner Diggins.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Janine, your presentation to us in June really sold me.
Thank you.
I think you can sell saunas in Florida if you wanted to. You're pretty good at it. I just have one question. Elliot said about the idea of you owning the equipment, the audiovisual equipment. Is that included in this to purchase that
Yes, it
equipment?
is.
And how much is that?
Right now, we're thinking that it's going to be about $300,000. The equipment we're talking about are when the convention center is used as a convention center. And so you're looking at those breakout sessions where you essentially have a very large either monitor or projector. So it's a projector, it's a screen, it's the all of the cabling that's necessary for somebody to hook up their computer. So imagine that you have 8 different rooms being utilized at once. You're going to need 8 of those packages. We want to make sure that they're boxed so that they're on. So you've got 8 of those. In the grand ballroom, right now the convention center rents out, or those who are renting from the convention center have to rent those very 2 large back projectors as well as the screens. We're looking at making the investment so that we actually have them on site so that the sales team of the convention center can go out and say, we have these things. We're not going to have to worry about inventory of other companies having those available. And then the upcharges, they're going to be on site, on campus, and be able to move around from the grand ballroom into the convention center. If it's a, I wanted to say a state dinner, but if it's an annual dinner or a bigger fundraiser.
Okay, and what about the yearly upkeep of this stuff? How are you going to pay for that?
The maintenance of audiovisual equipment, normally it's got a good life cycle of at least 3 to 5 years, depending on technology, which is ever changing. Mm-hmm. But the partnership, as we rent out the convention center, there is, although those items are on campus, say that you need a microphone, certain ones in a room may be included, others may have a fee of $25. So the additional fees associated with renting those will help with maintenance and replacements.
Very good, thank you.
You're welcome.
That's all, Madam Chair.
All right. Any additional conversation? Okay. If not, I am entertaining motions.
I make a recommendation to approve the $3 million funding for Sarah Studios in combination with the $500,000 marketing and partnership request with the convention center.
I'll second it.
All right. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right. It passes unanimously. And so now we will move on to our tourism update from Isaiah Lewis of Downs and St. Germain.
Morning, Isaiah.
Good morning. How are you?
Just want to give him some framework while he's teeing up the visual.
Perfect.
We're excited about them now having boots on the ground since early June. So they're tracking really, really good. Really excited to see where you're at 6 months from now. And just to preface too, they're also contracted with Sarasota County. So from time to time, especially with airlines, we'll be commingling tourism data for network planners with the airlines. It's easier for them to look at regional impact than 2 counties giving them separate information. So we appreciate you being here.
Thank you so much. Can you guys hear me okay? Good morning. So I'm going to be going over our June dashboard just to give you guys a little bit of background and framework. This is a pretty short slide presentation here for me, but our larger presentation will be once we get to the quarterly work, which will be our June through September full conglomeration of all of the previous month's data collection. So far, data collection, as Elliot has mentioned, is going very well. We are at over 450 surveys with boots on the ground, so we're doing really, really great on data collection so far in the quarter. We'll continue collecting through September, and then you guys will see me later in the year with our full version of the report. But now I'll be going over a little bit just quickly on the June dashboard. So here we are looking at lodging metrics, and then we're going to be looking at visitor metrics, and then I got a couple tourism trends for you guys. So to start off with our lodging metrics for June 2025, at the top there you're going to be seeing our combined lodging metrics, which is combining together your vacation rental units and your hotel lodging metrics. So we're seeing just under 70% occupancy rate with an ADR of $321.38, with a RevPAR of $224, and rental units coming in at 11,139. And again, this is for the month of June. When you look at the split there, you can see that you got a little bit of a higher occupancy rate amongst those with hotel lodging metrics, with a slightly lower average daily rate, and then that daily rate is being really held high by your vacation rental units at $482, with a occupancy rate of 67.5, with both of those having just over 5,500 units. And then when I move over to our visitation metrics, here we are going to see for the month of June for paid visitors, we're seeing 114,500 visitors staying in paid accommodations, estimated using our combined data from Boots on the Ground here for our data collection. We're seeing room nights at 232,900 with direct expenditures. That includes lodging, your entertainment, shopping, groceries, as well as transportation. We're seeing direct expenditures at $160,423,700 as our estimate for direct spending in the month of June. Looking next at our visitor metrics, when we're looking at our typical travel party size, the average travel party size for the month of June was around just under 3 people, with a length of stay of just under 6 nights. And that's going to be the end of the dashboard version. I'll pause for any questions you guys have on the dashboard before I jump into a couple of tourism trends.
Could I ask a quick question?
Yep.
So Elliot had mentioned we're combining metrics to some extent with Sarasota. Are these metrics all just representing Manatee County?
Yes, these are
Okay.
just from Manatee County using Key Data Dashboard as well as DBPR.
And Madam Chair, we never say never. We'll never show you a combined metrics at this public meeting.
Okay.
We're going to do it twice a year for partners like airlines to be able to easily gather that regional information.
Yeah.
Good question. Thank
I
you.
think that makes perfect sense.
Thank you.
Great question.
Madam Chair. Thank you, Madam Chair. I got a question, and it's kind of, the last 5 years have really been wonky. Maybe that's not the word I should use. It's been wonky.
Wonky's great.
In our community with COVID and the different things, and then last year with the historic hurricanes that we had. When you did these metrics of occupancy rate in both areas, would you say that right, where are we compared to the last 5 years compared to the previous 5 years? And I know you might not have all of that into it where we didn't have as much stuff, but and really what is the room rate or the room availability compared to last year before the storms?
Yeah.
So
That's a great question. We actually, since we just started data collection, we don't want to compare apples to the previous data vendor just because it's slightly different in terms of sourcing and how we're doing it there. But I can go back after this and look at the previous metrics specifically for your hotel lodging metrics and your vacation rental metrics and get you a comparison there so we can see how that compares to the previous year. That's a great question and something that we can definitely add to the dashboards moving forward.
Well, I just think that with the stuff that we've had over the last several years, we had got back to a little bit before the hurricanes last year, kind of coming out of COVID and all of that. And it seemed like we were a lot higher occupied. That sometimes it seemed like we would be at 90+% when I'd hear about it. So really it's 69.7, but is that 69.7 of what? Because how many of them are still not
online
yet?
Yeah.
I think that would be a great thing to show the community as a whole, because I know in some areas, we've added Palmetto, they've added something that came back on, where the islands, and I got a picture from a friend of mine yesterday when we were out in between Helene and Milton, and the yellow house on Bradenton Beach was still standing, but the house next to it was on the end of the street on the bay. Well, 5 days later, the only house that blew down in Bradenton was that yellow house. Bradenton Beach, I'm sorry, was the yellow house. But the flooding had occurred. So you really look at some of those places are Airbnbs and different things. Some of them are permanent residents. But it just made me think about that, 69% of what? compared to the damage that was there.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. We could definitely look at percent change and kind of see how it's different. Elliot, I see you got your hand up, so I'll kick it over to you for a second.
It's a great question. It's a tough question for Isaiah because he's just learning how to swim in this community.
Right.
Your 11,000 plus short-term rentals, they're taking 12% of the surveying to come up with the average daily rates, a lot of that data. And I'm not a statistician, but that's really all you need to get pretty accurate data. The good news is through severe red tide in 2017, through COVID, remember in 2020, we were down only 10% in visitation. So you've seen record-breaking growth every year until 2024. This year, remember, we weren't comparing research data with Down St. Germain because every research firm slightly has a different way of doing it. I could show you exactly, next meeting, I could take you through the last decade and showing you the growth of occupancy and average daily rate. Many, even elected officials over the years would say, if you're breaking records, do we have to continue to one market or continue to market at that level? And my quick response was, yes, because it prepares you for the next adversarial occurrence. You've heard me say it. And y'all heard me say it. Sometimes the public never has heard it, but it's brand position, power of the brand. That 69% is probably really close in June of where it should be based on years past. Remember, a normal trigger of the market is ripe for more capacity in a year-round's time is about 74% occupancy rate. Once that hits, and based on the economy, based on commercial note interest rates, that is a trigger to say, gosh, that community probably needs more capacity. So we're really not too far off based on what we came out of. Hate to throw numbers out there, but based on where we were last year, we're probably off in that probably 6 to 9% compared to last year. I'll take that all day long, based on what we came out of. But I may run you through that while he's totally getting ramped up. And then when we're sitting here this time next year, then we can compare year to year. But when you look at Visit Sarasota's data compared to ours, the region's doing pretty good. And quite candidly, out on the island here, Commissioner Whitmore's sitting here right here. The island's been pretty busy on weekends. Dan Diggins lives on the island and all that. So I think we're doing pretty well based on the situation. So, but we're going to keep on the pedal from a marketing standpoint and brand position because the diversity of our assets and markets really help us weather that adversarial occurrence. I gave you a very long-winded answer, but we're doing pretty good based on what we came out of.
Madam Chair, if I could do a little follow-up. Thank you. The reason I think that's important, and as I get longer into this seat as mayor, when you look at our communities, and I look at the city of Braden and city of Palmetto, all three islands, Manatee County as one. Even though we've got different municipalities kind of running them and doing it a little bit differently, when you look at the overall aspect of what we're doing, if one succeeds, we all succeed. If one fails, we all fail. And when it really comes down to it, we're really trying to, on this board, and that's why I love, I don't want to say that my other boards and things aren't important, but this is probably my favorite because we see where we are. And we sit with people that if things don't work, they close their business. And if they're not promoting and we're not going through it. So it's important. And even in the city of Braden, we had a vote the other day that changes things a little bit. But when you look at the whole of what's going to happen for our city, it's also going to happen for our community. And unfortunately, people see one portion of something, one moment, and then they move on because if it doesn't affect them, they're not paying attention. So I think it's important that we talk about this a little bit more of timing of things. And I learned this fact a little while back. And, we talk about growth in Manatee County, tourism, and all the things that are happening. In 1934, I think it was, the state of Florida started doing license plates. with the number of the size of your county. So 1 through 67. So if you were the largest population, you were 1, which is Miami-Dade, which has always been Miami-Dade. Then it went to the others in between. Well, Manatee County was 15, Sarasota County was 16 at the time. So it stuck for a while. In 74, they realized that the way things are growing, they're going to have to stop doing that. Instead of having 1, 2, you know what it is, they just went to regular license plates. And, you know, so I did some research and I found out, well, over all the years, we were 15, 14, 15 right there. And when you look at today, that was the biggest thing I looked at, where we were today. And I asked people, what do you think we were at? People say 7, 8, 9, and we're still 15. So when the counties have grown in the state of Florida, everybody has grown the same way. And when you look at, there's 3 of us up here, 1 out in the audience right now, that get either blamed or credit for a lot of things that happen around the state, around the community and that. But you look at it, we're just a moment in time that's going to try to make our area better. And to me, this information is showing how we can make it better, how we can get it. And when it does affect you individually at the moment, come in and look at what you can do to help, because 10 years from now, that moment's going to be different. And that's, to me, is why this information, I think, is better, because the more we talk about it, the more people can see we're growing. The people to my left and right that aren't elected are living and dying from that growth. And if they don't get the growth outside of all the stuff, hurricanes, you know, COVID, red tide, we're never going to be able to grow. But I just think it's important for the electeds to really realize, and the community to realize, we've got opportunity here to make everyone's life better. Thank you, Madam Chair, and I didn't mean to get that long-winded.
No, thank you.
Madam Chair, if I can just say one more thing, it's really important. I think I've said it publicly before. Your tourism director isn't about breaking tourism records. If I'm supposed to be, I'm the wrong tourism director. At the end of the day, I look at myself as first and foremost a community servant that understands the dynamics of the community, that if we can, keyword, moderately bring in visitation 12 months a year, that sustains our businesses, that enhance the quality of life for the residents that live here, then we've done our job. So we're very careful about how we promote the destination with the pride of breaking records. It's not Elliott. Never will be Elliott. So I just want to make sure that everybody understands that. We like that 2-3% growth? Well, of course, you know, but not to try to outpace everybody else.
Madam Chair?
Yes, go ahead, Tony.
Yeah, just to kind of add on to what Mayor Brown was talking about, I think one of the things, and I came as an outsider, and I will tell you, our tourism director does an incredible job. I think the answer to weathering these storms of a red tide occurrence, of a massive worldwide pandemic of COVID, and then coming out of these 2 major hurricanes is diversity. And that's really what this community is about, is about diversity. That's why things, when they come up on our board here, like the Arts and Cultural District, is we have diversity here. We're able to accommodate all different types of tourism into Manatee County. And a lot of that credit does go back to our tourism director, who has been working towards that diversity for years and years and years. So that's why I'm just happy to be a part of it.
Wonderful. Thank you. Commissioner Diggins.
Thank you, Madam Chair. A couple questions. I don't know whether Isaiah or Elliott. This is one data point, and the mathematician in me says we need more than one data point. So in June, I think I'm the only one up here that lives on the island. Well, Eric lives here on the island. But it took me 2 hours to get home, and I live 7 miles from where I left, my business to come home. It took me 2 hours. And that was in April. So I suspect these numbers are a little higher in April of this year. Mm-hmm. Do you have that at the top of your head, what the visitor number was in April of this year?
We actually were not collecting data in April, so we don't.
I hate to say it publicly, but he's still learning how to swim. What was your question, Dan?
Yeah, what were the visitor numbers in April?
I'd have to go back and get them for you. They're going to be higher than June.
Yeah, well, yeah.
For example, June of 24, we had 109,000 short-term visitors. This past June, we had 115. So there's a little bit of growth
Okay.
there. We are not tracking how many people are coming on and off the island, whether they're a short-term rental visitor or a resident or just somebody coming out on the island for the day. I'm not sure if FDOT's tracking that via, cameras or not.
I'm just wondering, using the same metrics you're using here and the same collection method, I just think the numbers are going to be higher in April than it is
Correct.
in June.
For sure.
And I just think it's
a
helpful.
lot higher.
It's helpful for us to see it, instead of giving us just a monthly update, show us where the month is for the entire year.
And we normally don't. For 20 years, we've given you lengthy reports. The challenge is we're ramping up a new research firm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we're going to get there, and then you're going to see the big picture. I can give you anecdotal information until then. It's going to be subjective from Elliott and some other research, but we kind of like to manage expectations to the best of our ability. So like I said, in 6 months, he's already started in June. We should be giving you some really good, robust data around the holidays.
Did you give him a life jacket or anything?
After this meeting, he may need one. No, I'm kidding.
All right, one more question, if I may, Madam Chair. We had direct expenditures of $160,423,700.
Yes.
Spread over 114,500 visitors. That's $1,401 per visitor.
Yes. That is, when you look, yes, that is correct. And when you look at the spending, it's not just your accommodation spending. So if you're looking at an accommodation rate that's sitting at $115 to $400, that's a nice significant portion of that $1,000 that you're mentioning there. But then when we look at the rest of that data collection, you're still seeing your shopping, you're seeing your groceries, you're seeing transportation to the destination also included within those metrics. So there is definitely more within just those expenditures than just accommodation. So you are seeing a vast growth there of spending. But we do this destination study in 20 other destinations in the state of Florida. That is fairly typical, if not slightly higher than what we're seeing in other destinations. So it's not a bad metric that you're seeing there.
Okay, good. It's a pretty impressive number.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure
Yep,
I
and
understood.
I would also say the same thing about the occupancy rate. Again, we do this in all of the Southwest Florida as well as other parts of Florida, Central, West, wherever you want to name it, the whole Panhandle. That 70% occupancy rate is strong compared to other destinations, especially in the month of June. It's strong compared to other destinations that we're working with. I can't give you guys their proprietary data on what their numbers are, but I present this information at those destinations and see what it looks like. And that 70% is strong when you're comparing it against competitors, specifically in the month of June. I think as we get here into these tourism trends that I'm going to touch base on with national trends, you're seeing a lot of other places that are starting to take a little bit of a dip in their occupancy and rates in the month of June. So it's 70% is strong when you're comparing that to other places.
Thank you. That's all, Madam Chair.
I have a question for Elliot, Madam Chair.
Let me get Rahul and then.
Good.
Thank you, Madam Chair. While we are ramping up with this new firm and getting the research going, I want more help by getting some kind of separate data for hotels, separate for vacation rentals, how it can help us to do better for the visitors. And if there's any things that we can improve on, we can do better.
Yeah, I'd love to take your card or give you my card after this meeting, and we can talk about separate proprietary property reports for if you have a specific hotel property. We can look at data on that level. And then once we get into that full quarterly data that Elliot is mentioning, we're going to see that later this year. That will have a larger breakdown of data where we can kind of slice and dice more. When you're looking at a monthly data, I'm going to get real research nerdy here. You don't want to get too granular on your slicing and dicing at a monthly level, just because you don't want to, when you have a certain amount of surveys, your statistical sample size gets cut down when you start slicing and dicing at that point.
Jiten?
Elliot, I have a question on our local tourist development tax. Now, it says collection are based on 5%, but as of January, we changed that to 6%.
It's we do not include the 1% that goes to beach renourishment.
Okay.
Yes, sir. They won't let me even look at that line item, Jiten, which is rightfully so.
Yeah. So, like, as to you, Dan's question is basically April data. April definitely has more tourists than June. But when we look at the tax collection is slightly lower than June in April. If you look at the numbers for 2025.
I'm having trouble hearing. Jiten, I'm having trouble hearing you, sir.
April tax collection was 3.2 million. June's tax collection was 3.6 million. And we were wondering why tourism being higher in April, why there's a higher collection in June than April.
There could have been that accommodations did not pay in April that may have paid in May. Sometimes they don't pay the same rent, so it's not reflected until the following month. They pay a penalty. I'm guessing because I'm not the tax collector liaison. But there are many short-term rental people that don't pay the month that they collect. And they can pay a month or two later. Sometimes coming out of adversarial occurrences, they have old expenses to pay, and they're paying the interest rate to the tax collector and then paying a month or two later. That would be my only logic on that.
If we do that as a hotel, they might be at our doorstep.
Well, they usually notify the tax collector that they're paying late. They are, as you all know, our tax collector is one of the best in the state of Florida.
Absolutely.
All right, time for
Any
tourism
other
trends.
questions, or can we move on to tourism trends?
All
Go to
right.
trends.
Sweet. So I've got a couple of tourism trends here. These are all national trends that we're seeing, so not specific to the area, but just general national trends that we're seeing. Looking at general Florida tourism trends, you're seeing that 91% of travelers have travel plans in the next 6 months. Again, those are specifically travelers, so people who are often traveling. But when we look at America as a whole, the country as a whole, we're seeing 56% of all of our visitors are saying they're planning to travel less this summer. This is due to a couple of reasons. Many said they're opting for shorter or more budget-conscious trips due to just their general perceptions of a waning economy. They're looking at those concerns. It's their own perceptions of it, so that's leading to a lower percentage of people who are saying they're generally planning on traveling this summer. And then when we look at specifically those who are from low income, the demand for low income visitors, we're seeing that they're have a very low index. It's the lowest since 2021, with 21% of travelers saying they're planning to replace long-haul plane trips with domestic road journeys this season. That's honestly great for Florida destinations, as a lot of our Florida destinations are heavy drive markets. So that's going to be probably fairly beneficial, but you are seeing a waning index against those lower income travelers generally over the summer. And then next, when we go into international tourism trends, you're seeing international sentiment towards traveling to the U.S. is down amongst your major markets. Those major markets include UK, Canada, and Germany. I think they're all having a bit of a downturn in their sentiment towards traveling this summer. So it's a little bit of, hey, brace for it. International visitation has, the sentiment has started to wane a little bit across the nation. And then when we're looking specifically at Tourism Economics, which is a global economics firm, they noted that international travel to the U.S. will fall by 15.2% in 2025, despite earlier projections this year that had it being up 8 to 9%. So that's a vast switch amongst an Oxford exchange or an Oxford level economics firm that's saying, hey, that international traveler switch is going to be really heavy now. That there's a big change going to be happening than we expected at the top of the year. And that'll be it for the national tourism trends that we're seeing.
Mayor?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to ask the question on that, and I think this is more of a kind of a kudos to our tourism director and over the years staff and everything that's been done. When these pandemics and different things have hit us, we have marketed more of the car traveler, the local, stay and play. When I say local, maybe around the state. And we saw that I think that really, marketing-wise, played well. And it kind of goes to what Elliot says. And Elliot is so humble, but Elliot is the second longest running employee of Manatee County, which shows you that he's bar none able to weather the storm politically at any time. And just people don't realize how lucky we are to have somebody that, even though he's from Pittsburgh, still to be, I'd say he's a Manatee County-ian now, not just up there in Pittsburgh area. But I just think that showed, when we did have some of that downturn, that we were able to sustain the local region to get them to come here. And, so the international is so important to continue to market, but it's also to continue to market, hey, if something happens, we're still here, get in your car and drive to us and stay. So I just say kudos to the board over the years, and as well as to Elliot and his entire staff. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments?
Just, Madam Chair, it's a longer report than I thought, but you did a great job, Isaiah. Take this with a grain of salt. Something can come out of the federal government today, and those numbers can change. Remember, we got stock markets going up and down. We got tariff percentages going up and down. We have visas going up and down. We are staying the course. That's why we have UK-based representation, German representation. Remember, Canada is very, very, very small market. It's almost, we just, we treat it like a domestic city. So just, like I said, we could be back here in October and say, hey, the UK and German market is coming in. Who we target are pretty resilient. And right now, the messages we're getting out of our tour operators is bookings are strong. It's the big cities, I think, that are really the concern, not little old Bradenton area, Anna Maria Island.
Yeah, that's a great point. These trends are international tourism trends for the entire country, not specific to this area. So just keep that in mind as I'm going through those trends. That's not specific to this area.
One more comment.
Yes. Ro?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So, as always, in ongoing discussions with Elliot, I always mention that whatever we fund, whatever we do, never take it for granted. Always keep aside the marketing money for long term. When we are doing good, we need that. When we are not doing, we need to double that. And sometimes it may be too late. And others are always competing. When they see this 70% occupancy, people are not there. We have national data from other sources, and people are like, they envy our market. They want to jump, or they want to drag our tourists somewhere else. So let's stay on top. Thank you.
All right. Anything else? Thank you so much, Isaiah.
Thank you for your time today. I'll have more for you guys in the next couple of months.
Thanks, buddy.
All right. Now we can move on to the 2028 World Rowing Senior Championship. Elliot, give us some information.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Go back in time. Yes, I was around. We hosted the 2017 World Rowing Championship, Nathan Benderson Park. Partnership between Manatee County, Sarasota County, and the Benderson Corporation. That was the first time that the World Rowing Championships were in the United States since 1995. Let me digress for one moment, just to show regional partnership. You all recommended 6 months ago to put equity into the Senior PGA Championship that we were awarded starting April 2026. The Sarasota County Commissioners matched our investment. So we thank them for that, and we are sure going to make sure that their brand elements are represented accordingly like our brand elements. With that, as you all know, the Summer Olympics in 2028 are in Los Angeles. And this event is athletes that do not make the Olympic team, international team. So they want to put a bid in to host this event. The great thing is it's in August. I don't know how rowers do it in that kind of heat, but it's in August. We don't know if they'll be awarded that event. And so I'm asking for, you're looking at 2,500 athletes. They're coming from all over the world. And like I said, it's in August, non-televised. So we're asking, Sarasota County is going to put more into the bid than Manatee County because we look at, what makes the most sense for our Tourism Bureau to make a recommendation. But total transparency, we're comfortable putting in a bid on our end for $750,000. I have $250,000 in a sports line item available now, so that's why I'm only asking for $500,000. And if awarded and if approved by the Board of County Commissioners, then we would apply $750,000 in 2028. So it's a couple years off, but they plan these in advance. I think we have a really good chance of getting it because it's very costly to ship, they call them shells, boats all over the world to a country like the United States. And there will be some added value where some of the athletes will come in and practice in advance of this tournament. And we may even get some Olympians come train here, some countries as well. So you remember, Gene, you were around 2015, 2016, combination, I think Sarasota County, Benderson Corporation, you're looking at a venue that's probably north of $40 million of capital. This comes around probably every decade, every 12 years, so this isn't a reoccurring. I think it's a good thing to do, showcases our regional partnership, and then it brings elite disciplined athletes to our region. So with that, I'm asking for a recommendation of $500,000.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
When one would look out there and you're a citizen seeing this and you're asking why are we giving something to possibly something? We know where Benderson Park is, we know all of that, but it's right on the borderline of Manatee County. So back many years ago, I'm walking down the main street in the city of Bradenton right there, and I always see people and you see the families, you see whether there's a baseball tournament, a lacrosse tournament, so you're seeing people walk down. And I, always say hi, and, sometimes they look at me weird, like, why is this guy saying hi to me? But, then I tell them, kind of get engaged with them and talk to them. And there was so many people in the downtown Bradenton, and now the luxury of Palmetto with the Palmetto Marriott, the other hotels all around, it does affect Manatee County. Even though the venue is not directly in Manatee County, thank goodness we've had some foresight with our county commissioners to really say, how are we going to partner with that? And through our state legislators over the years. So that has brought a lot to the region, Manatee and Sarasota County and others. So that's what I want people to understand, that it's not just because it's in Sarasota, we shouldn't do anything. We should promote us, and that is promoting us. And as we know, I think Elliot says it all the time and others, once they come here, they come back. If they never get here, they never come back. So.
Madam Chair, I got to say something.
Yes.
I mentioned the word elite. These are well-educated athletes. We used to joke, as you know, Fort Hamer, we host a lot of Ivy League schools that come and train in the wintertime. And we used to throw a little gathering at Crosley, all 6'4", shoulders twice as wide as mine. And we would joke saying, who's the next president of the United States in the crowd? Because there probably was one. So that conversion, not only is there's an economic stimulus, we'll get the taxation back regionally, but that return rate of somebody coming here, remembering it, and they may move their business here someday. We may not see it, maybe 10 years from now, but it's a really neat, high demographic event that's good for our region.
Awesome. Yes, Commissioner.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think having this event here will more than pay for itself very quickly with the visitation and the tourists that come along with it. Because, there's family members that are going to come. There's probably press that will come, and they're going to stay somewhere, and they're going to pay the tax. So I think $500,000 is well worth it. With that, I'd like to make a motion that we approve it.
Oh. Hold on just a moment. Do we have a comment from Rahul, or did you want to make a second? Okay, go for it.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I do remember the event that happened a few years ago. I'm a hotelier, have hotels along the interstate, Manatee and Sarasota County. There were some different rules that applied to other hotels compared to local hotels right at their exit. They were guaranteed business. We were given deals that were not feasible, like providing 9,000 calorie meals for a rate of $180 inclusive. Like, it did not make any economic sense. And I was put in an office and cornered down to accept the deal, which I was like very hesitant and did not accept end of the day. But those things cannot happen. We understand the economy of everything. We understand the main discussion we are doing is allocating this money or not. Is it going to be equal to everybody? It cannot be funded by the government or funded by us and then a private entity taking the rewards of everything. So during the, if things get approved, I would like something to be overseen where there is no discrepancy between any hotels between Manatee or Sarasota, also any particular hotel group. It just should benefit everybody.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
I can remember when Benderson Park, I used to fly over it almost once a week. And when it started from the ground, just some backhoes and some bulldozers. And it has come so far along with the aquarium that's going in, and that'll be completed pretty soon. I think the $500,000 for something like this rowing is it's a great thing, because we are not just here in Bradenton, we're not just sitting here on Anna Maria Island. This is something that's basically all around the entire community between the counties, between Sarasota and Manatee. And we are adding something on here which is just going to blossom into something which is going to be much bigger as we all have a tendency to grow and the whole area grows. So I completely agree with this.
Absolutely. We have a motion and a second, so I will go ahead and call for the vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right. The recommendation passes unanimously. Now we will move on to potential capital improvements for water ferry operation.
Madam Chair, thank you. I added this on last week. As you know, the water ferry's a moving part. I guess literally, right? We just saw the weekend numbers last Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and we're still north 350 passengers a day. Just a couple weeks ago, we were almost 500 passengers a day. I'm actually perplexed. It's going a lot better than I would have ever imagined. Staff, the marketing team has done a great job. If you go to Yahoo, when you're home, or Google, pretty much you're going to see a digital banner come up about the water ferry. So it's been real successful. What has been cumbersome is getting the landings, the piers, the docks in a manner to continue and to accommodate, expand the service. So let me just give you the quick rundown. So as you all know, we're running a 2-point system, now known as the Bradenton Riverwalk Pier, formerly the Bradenton Day Dock, out to historic Bridge Street and back. And thank you, both cities. You've done a great job cooperating with us. Mayor Short's done a great job doing all he can to keep that city pier on Anna Maria Island project going. And Dan Diggins has really helped liaison with us as well. So that's ongoing. The neat thing is we're really, really close to getting South Coquina boat ramp ready to be able to accept the ferry. We're down to ADA compliance, and that was about a $200,000 program. The county administration took that out of beach concessions. So they're cognizant of how many times keep coming back to the TDC. So thank you for county administrator for trying to kind of diversify the expenses on that. To be able to bring the water ferry, and I'm hoping around Thanksgiving, give or take, that we're heading down there, it's going to entice more residents to use it because Coquina Beach is one of their beaches of choice to enjoy. Going back to the city pier on Anna Maria, Charlie Hunsaker's team, through an engineering firm, gave us a work assignment recently for design, permit, and construction documents, it's around 238,000. And then we're anticipating some more work assignments to come behind that. We're working with Mayor Brown and City Administrator Perry on making some modifications to the Riverwalk Pier as well. So I talked to county administration because when they say they need the money, we don't have it because we don't budget that for just capital. Some of us would say, why don't we have the whole cost and do it all in one swing? Well, it's a step-by-step process. Part of the study is there seagrass? Is there not seagrass? Do we need a bathymetric study or do we not? Do we have the depth or do we not? Things that I'm learning that I never wanted to learn in my life that I'm forced to learn it.
Yeah.
And I'm excited about it, so don't let me look at it as an attitude. So with that, long story, I guess short story long, Madam Chair, is I asked County Administrator, I said, why don't I go to the TDC for up to $750,000? And I can assure you that I'll keep you all communicated to one-on-one as we go through these work assignments and continue to hack away at expanding this survey. And this way I'm not coming at you every TDC meeting for more money. So up to is the key word. We'll spend $230,000 quickly with the approval of the Board of County Commissioners, and we'll go from there. The exciting news, I tell everybody, we've already surpassed last year's passenger count. We're north of 30,000 passengers. That's probably 17,000, 18,000 cars off the road. We're into this in perpetuity. We're excited. We're not going to get off the pedal, and let's keep doing things that are important to enhance the quality of life for the residents that live here. So with that, I'm open to questions. I am, at the request of Mayor Braun, I'm going to be giving the MPO an update in September. Finally, I've said it before, and Justin is helping. We're working with the county grants department to look at every grant on planet Earth that we could apply to water ferries, piers, docks, landings, etc. So, and we have all the match dollars that we need. So with that, I'm here to answer any questions or asking for a recommendation for up to $750,000 specifically earmarked for capital.
Okay. Rahul?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Elliot, I just had one question. I know and I respect it's one step at a time. This is how we grow, and it's fantastic the way it's grown so far, and it's kind of exceeded expectation. But I think that was a need, and that's why it's happening. At some point, the stage where maybe TDC does not need to help is when this is incorporated with the local area transit. And when do we see? Do we see it in 3 years, 5 years? Like how much impact it needs to have on the traffic count before Mary County Area Transit can take over? So we have a path between now and then.
Yeah, good question, Raul. As we sit here, MCAT will begin to oversee the day-to-day October 1st. Okay? We will continue to market and promote it, and we will continue to hold hands with MCAT because it's the right thing to do. But more importantly, it really helps make sure that we're aligned, that the buses are integrated with where the ferry's landing. You know, God forbid if the boat breaks down or there's a storm that suspends it, then right away there's that quick way to get that bus to the people, to get them back to where they need to go. So that's where we're at. I mean, honestly, I'll find the time. We will talk a lot, probably in the next 6 months, give or take. They should be able to grasp it a lot faster than I was ever able to grasp it. But October 1 is the timing on that.
Yes, Pretend.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Elliot, $228,000 is just design and permitting work?
It is called, let's see, what does this say here? Design, permitting, and construction documents. So probably the meat of that expense is the construction documents. I wish I had a visual for you. Right now, what they're looking at the city pier on Anna Maria,
is the City Pier of Anna Maria is on an emergency permit. The city can't change anything that basically grandfathered in design, or that emergency permit is null and void.
As we discussed.
So we have to wait. So run in parallel, they're designing what we think will be a small, shorter parallel pier that'll be beside the new pier. And that's probably where the meat of that cost is.
But then, what about the construction cost after the design document? and
They'll
permit?
come with that scope of services, they'll give us a construction cost.
Okay, so 750,000 includes the other areas like, our, I guess, Palmetto Estuary Preserve and any other areas?
Yes, good question, Jiten. You've done your homework. Palmetto Estuary, the work assignment has already been paid for. They did submit permits for Palmetto Estuary that would eventually bring the ferry to the convention center. This 238 will pay for the work assignment for the City of Anna Maria Pier. And then I'm expecting another work assignment for the Bradenton Riverwalk Pier. Right now, we're paying overnight costs to a private marina. And the kindness of the City of Bradenton is that they're going to allow us to modify the Riverwalk Pier so we don't have to pay overnight costs in the future. So I'm anticipating another work assignment coming when I have the money in a lineup.
So we are anticipating $750,000 just only in the design, permitting, and construction document work for all these different projects.
Because I've said it to be up to, I'm hoping that we don't need to spend all that money. And maybe I come back to you, managing expectations, Christmas time and say, you know what, all of our work assignments are done, permits, design, and I have $250,000 unused. I don't know yet. I'm just trying to give myself fluidity so I don't keep coming back to you all asking for more money.
Thank you, Elliot.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, I think that those are very good questions, but in the heart of knowing our tourism director and how fiduciarily responsible he is and the accountability that's in place, I know how these projects go. And I was just sitting here studying the agenda today. We talked about diversity. I mean, if you go over the diversity of the agenda that we've had today, I think it's been very, very well spread out. And this water taxi, this transportation is crucial to visitors. And as you know, as Elliot always says, is also to enhance the life of the residents. I mean, it's a major win-win. This water taxi is very, very important. I actually have a question for you, Mayor Brown. I think you're very familiar with the MPO, and I just wanted to know, where's the MPO as it relates to this water taxi?
Yeah, is there state funding available?
Madam Chair. Thank you. Yeah, as chair last year, vice chair this year, and anticipated to be chair next year, I thought it was very important to get Elliot to one of those meetings to really explain it, because I'm getting a lot of questions from our counterparts to the south that they see the success of this. As we know, in public transportation is something that costs government money. It's not something, the federal government has regulations, they do things, but it still costs local governments money. And when you're looking at it, that's what we're trying to figure out. Where is that transportation advantage going to come from on the MPO? Because if we're seeing tens of thousands of cars off the streets in Manatee County, what can we do to get another tens of thousands of cars off the streets in Sarasota County while connecting with a perfect waterway that we have between the two counties? And I think that's something that, with the success of this, with great risk that we probably took at the time, but it was well worth the risk. And I'll give a quick little synopsis of something we just did in downtown Bradenton with the DOT, because the DOT plays into this as well when you start talking about funding and grants. And if they're all on board with us, we had a left turn lane going north on 9th Street, getting to Manatee Avenue. We eliminated that left turn lane. Everybody that I knew, few Facebook posts, somebody talked about social media and different things that they looked at the rabbi. Social media is very interesting at times when people know nothing about what's happening, but they make a comment. And so two of the people that made comments were my friends. So I called them and said, why'd you make that comment? Well, it's going to do that. I said, listen, here's why, here's what, here's how we battled with DOT to say they aren't going to do the right turn, the left turn. Let's eliminate it and see what happens. And that's just like with the water taxi. Everybody was worried about where they're going to park in downtown Bradenton for the water taxi. I've never had one complaint about finding parking because we have a parking garage that has 400 spots and it's a little bit of a walk, but it's not bad. And again, I see the people pulling their carts going and talk to them. And, oh no, this isn't bad. Because when I was in Chicago last year, I had to walk 2 miles to get somewhere. When I was somewhere else where all I had to do is walk, not even a quarter of a mile from our parking garage to there. And it's just one of those things that when you look at it, it's bringing it. And again, Sarasota wants to figure out how to connect us. Think about this. If you could leave downtown Bradenton and be in downtown Sarasota and back, you're not really looking, well, that's going to take me an hour to get there, an hour and 15 minutes. You're looking at what I get to see, what I get to experience. And oh, by the way, I'm stopping at Bradenton Beach. I'm stopping at Coquina. I'm going to Holmes Beach. And I say that tongue in cheek because we're going to get a Holmes Beach, and Dan has worked on that. We're going to Anna Maria Island. We're stopping in St. Armand Circle. That would be the coolest thing. And our partners in Sarasota would be part of that because the MPO, Metropolitan Planning Organization, for the transportation, federally, state, and locally, it's the funds to help transportation in our area. And some of the things that were said timing-wise and cost-wise, government costs too much and takes too long. And you're starting to get people into it that are pushing that envelope a little bit more. And if I was in any of your businesses, which I have my own business, if we ran it like government, we'd be out of business. So we got to start running government more business-like. I made a mistake many years ago and was corrected by Councilwoman Barnaby, which was a great correction. I said, we got to do government like business. And she said, well, Mayor, I'm going to correct you at that. And it was the bantering back and forth, which is fun, is she said, we've got to run government more like business, but not just like business. Because if I mess up at my business, that cost me business in the future. If I mess up in government, I can still tax you more the next year. And that's not the MO that we need to be at. So, and I only say that because this is something that we haven't messed up yet. And the water ferry is going to make so much positive in the future, not only cars off the road, but also tourism and how you see it. First time I rode it, I saw things on the Manatee River I never had seen in my life driving a boat. Because you're the tourist then, you're looking, you're seeing the cool stuff that we have in that. And the left turn lane has worked because traffic gets through downtown Bradenton more, and the people that even do it, yeah, they have to turn on 8th or 9th now instead of Manatee Avenue, but now there's less traffic through downtown. And I want to give kudos transportation-wise publicly here to this community for 60 years of trying 44th Avenue East. And 44th Avenue is now open. And let's look at the positives, not that there's a situation on Cortez Road right where it turns into. Look at what it's done to downtown. I've seen it in the first 2 weeks of school that there's less traffic, except for this morning, there's a wreck on the interstate and they're directing all the traffic through downtown. So you've got to look at the positives of what we're doing. And this water taxi, Elliot, I appreciate you taking this on with your staff and going through that, because without the positive, we wouldn't be there. So I guess you're looking for that recommendation. I'll make that recommendation.
Second.
All right, and we have a comment from Commissioner.
Yes, Madam Chair.
I'm sorry, from Mr. Cairns.
Thank you. Elliot, I wish we could step back in time and we were doing this 10 years ago, okay? Because the success of the water ferry has been tremendous. I and my staff purposely guide people and let them know where the water ferry pickups are. We have people from all over the world, all over the United States come with us, and people from Arkansas, Oklahoma, out there, they don't have what we have right here. The Intercoastal, the Gulf of Mexico, the beautiful waters. When they jump on the ferry and they just go riding around on the ferry with their children, it's hard to figure out, are the children more excited or are the parents more excited to see what we have year-round almost every day? So taking that into consideration, if we were doing what we do right now at this present date, Now, we would be talking about probably 2 more ferries, perhaps 2 more different pickup places, going down to St. Armands, going up to St. Petersburg. That's what we'd be discussing today, because it would be a done deal to see just what a huge, huge success the ferry has become. People come to our office and we'll just talk about what a wonderful day they had. Oh, that's nice. Were you down at the beach? No, we went on the ferry. We went here, we went there, we went. I mean, it's money well worth spent, to say the least. To say the least. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Diggins.
Yeah, I just want to comment. As a big supporter of the ferry taxi, I want to think long range. We're getting a new boat that's 95 passenger, and then we're going to get another boat after that, the 4th boat, probably 95 or 100 passengers. I'm all for having facilities at each major docking station. We have to be able to have a staging area for the passengers, because at some point we're going to have to accommodate these passengers with bathrooms and things like that. This is the second time I've lived on an island in my life, and I used to live out in Washington State and live in San Juan Islands, and there were big ferries, there were car ferries out there, and they were the only way they worked because they had a schedule and a published schedule, and that's eventually, we're going to get to that point. But I think, approving this, I think we should approve more, quite frankly, because I think we need to think long range and build facilities at the places we're going to have these big boats go to. And I just want to see us develop those long range plans before we get too far down the road. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other comments?
Madam Chair, one final comment I had on my notes is one of the things for the islands, and I know the storms last year kind of sidetracked probably some of it, but what about the workers? That was a big issue at first when we were going to try to get workers out to take some of the parked cars off of the island. And I know, is that something we're still really managing?
Mayor, we did it a little bit coming out of Milton. They didn't have cars. But we, through surveying, and we worked with John Horn, Florida Restaurant and Lodging Association, the 3rd ferry is really going to be the ticket because of the climate controlled space. That employee's worried if the weather's bad, it's going to be suspended. Is it really too cold? So we've been dragging our feet to get that 3rd ferry in operation. And it's going to just be, you can count on that ferry a lot more than what you can count on the pontoon catamarans. Surprisingly, I shouldn't even say it, but we've only lost, I think, 15 days total this calendar year due to weather. So we're way ahead of where we were last year.
And then finally, I agree with Commissioner Diggins that, we've got to look at long-term, and I think there's opportunity to really start to plan and look at that as we do in some of our cities, figure out what we can add to it, because the success of it, adding 2 larger ferries, more people, they're going to be saying, oh, I'm waiting here 15 minutes, where are some of the amenities? And I think, that's a great idea to start thinking about now as we infrastructure some of especially the downtown area, where we're going to completely in the next 3 to 5 years, probably redo all of our infrastructure underground. And that's something that I will definitely give to our administrator today to look at how we can maybe stub something out for the future.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. So I believe we have a motion and a second already. So we can go ahead and take our vote. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right. The recommendation passes unanimously. And now we can move on to new or old business from any TDC member. Anything? All right. Thank you all so much. And with that, we are adjourned.
Thank you. Thank you.